Hello, JCPS counselors. I hope everyone's had a great summer and has stayed safe. For those of you all that do not know me, my name is Andrew Thomas, and I'm the Freshman Academy Counselor at Waggener High School. I'm thrilled to be here this morning with everyone virtually for our 2020 Summer JCPS School Counselor Conference. At this time, I'm going to share my screen with everyone. All righty. So I will be presenting this morning Becoming a National Model Accredited Academy, the National Career Academy Coalition NCAC review process. Just a little bit of a background of our freshman academy at Waggener, as well as myself and our team. Waggener has had a freshman academy in place since the school year 2013-2014. That's basically our current freshman academy model at the beginning stages. Our executive principal at that time, Dr. Hitchings, she was the AP, the academy principal of our freshman academy during that first year, where she really put those system support structures in place to really get our freshman academy up and going. I joined her the following year as the freshman academy counselor in school year 2014-2015. And from there on, every single school year, we have evolved our academy and we've aligned our academy work with the NCAC's 10 national standards of practice, which I'll be discussing in great detail with you guys throughout this presentation to ultimately best meet the needs of our students. This coming school year will be my 10th year at Waggener, my 7th year as the freshman academy counselor. And I am a firm believer in this work, the academy work, because it really does best support kids. The 10 national standards of practice are research-based standards where you can really support students and grow them as far as promoting them, graduating high school, and prepare them for college, career, and life experiences. So this past school year, our freshman academy team recently went through the NCAC review process. We started the process in December. We met with Dr. Wilcox, who is the NCAC reviewer there. And we kind of talked about our freshman academy with her. We have presented on our freshman academy model the past 5 years at the national NCAC conference around the country. So we have had that going for us where we've been able to showcase all the great work and things we're doing within our freshman academy. So we already had a relationship with NCAC there. And so we really just wanted to learn more about the review process and what that entails to ultimately be accredited. So again, we met with her in December, and then it took us about 4 months to prepare for the review, which took place on April 16th. Unfortunately, we did get through the review process, and we obtained model status. So that was very cool to experience and go through. It was a tough experience, but it was worth it at the end. So what's our session objective here? What do we want to come out of here with? So this session will provide insight to the National Career Academy Coalition review process to become a national model accredited academy. Waggener High School's freshman academy went through the review process during the spring 2020 semester to become the first accredited model academy in JCPS in the state of Kentucky. So not only is this session for freshman academies, it is also for career academies. Career academies and freshman academies, they can all become national model accredited academies after going through this process. This certification is awarded to academies based on the 10 NCAC national standards of practice. I'll be referring to those as NSOB. That's an abbreviation of that term there. These nationally recognized standards were developed by nationally recognized educational organizations from around the U.S. using research-determined best practices for effective academies and better preparing students for academy and high school success. So again, these are research-based, national renowned standards here that have been that are part of this process. The Academy Review is conducted by a team of 2 trained and certified NCAC national reviewers. So these reviewers examine the Academy documentation evidence of those 10 NSOPs within the Academy that has been uploaded to the NCAC website. So that's due about 2 weeks before the review. So all that evidence is reviewed prior to the review date. So then on the review date, the review team spends 4 hours with the Academy and school and interviews Academy faculty, staff, administration, partners, and students. Then finally, a report is submitted to the principal and Academy contact consisting of a thorough assessment of the Academy with recommendations. So that's kind of how this is the process, the objective of this session. So hopefully you guys will be able to take away a lot from here. And you too will go through this process with your own academy and all the great things you're doing within your career academy or freshman academy. All right, so this is, again, we did get through the process. It was a long, enduring process, but we did do it, and we got that model status going there. So we got the news in May. Again, we went through the review process on April 16th, and then we found out a few weeks later that we actually obtained model status. So that was just from the Academies of Louisville, which we're all part of, and this is from Miss Rogers, Assistant Superintendent of High School. She's actually the one that brought academies to Louisville in the 2017-2018 school year. So we're actually going on year 4 if you were one of those first 11 schools that are part of these Academies of Louisville model. So I'm assuming most people in this presentation are counselors, and there are now 15 high schools that are part of the Academies of Louisville model. I'm assuming that you are affiliated with one of those high schools because you too would like to go through this process to attain that model accredited status. So welcome. I'm glad to have you with this presentation, and we'll get started. All right, so I put a step-by-step process for everyone here. It's pretty, I just wanted to make it as simple as possible. What do you got to do step 1, and what's the last step you got to do as far as getting this accomplished? All right, so step 1, select your NCAC Academy Review lead. This is imperative. You have to have a lead through this, whether that be the Academy Principal, Academy Counselor, or Academy Teacher Lead. For Waggener's Freshman Academy, I was the lead for our review. You really need someone to own this, to really keep everyone moving along, to keep all your ducks in a row, your T's crossed, your I's dotted, so you are prepared for that review and that review date. Again, we started this in December. We met with Dr. Wilcox to kind of with an informational session, and then we did not end this until April 16th, and we took about 3 to 4 months preparing for that review. And I'm going to go through everything you're going to need to do to get that submitted, but it is worth it at the end. We're going to get more to the why should we do this at the end, but it is definitely worth it, and I definitely would recommend all of our academies go through this so we can be the hub base for schools in the United States to come visit and see how to do academies. All right, so you need to pick your person who's going to be leading this work. Again, to keep everyone in line there. Then you're going to need to complete an academy self-assessment. So I talked a little bit about already the 10 national standards of practice here. Here's a document that discusses the 10 national standards of practice. I'm going to go into more detail with these here in a second when we talk about the evidence collection, but as you see, NCOP 1 is that you need to have a defined mission and goals. What are your SMART goals? What's your mission for your academy? And then you look over here in the matrix and you kind of see where you fall here. Do you have a vision and goals clearly emphasize the strong commitment of the academy to focus on college and career preparation, appropriate time-bound, specific measurable objectives that represent this component are identified? So if you're over here on this side right here, you're rocking and rolling, you got everything in place. So what you need to do is you need to do a self-assessment, go through each of these NSOPs, National Standards of Practice, and then the different areas under each of those national standards of practice. You can see, so for example, NSOP 2 is Academy Design. There's A, B, C, D, E. So there's different components under each one. So you really have to kind of assess yourself, kind of figure out where you are in this work and see what you're doing. So once you do that, you go through this document. You want to do this with your academy team, your academy leadership, that'd be your counselor, principal, teacher lead, as well as your team members. If you do, I'm assuming most people do meet with their academies on a weekly or maybe bi-weekly basis. So this would be a great opportunity to kind of go through this and do a self-assessment, maybe break out into subgroups, that type of thing. Everyone take a national standards of practice, kind of see where you are and what evidence. And the biggest thing is, if you say you're there, you got to have evidence. You got to have paperwork that shows that you're there, because that's what NCAC is going to want you to upload to the website, the documentation, the evidence, the artifacts that show that you actually meet the standards of practice to support students. So that's that. So after going through step 1, you're going to move on to step 2 here. You're going to set up a virtual NCAC Academy Review informational meeting. You're only going to want to do this, though, probably if you feel pretty confident that you're ready to go through the review after your self-assessment. If you go through that self-assessment and you feel like, well, you know what, we got a lot of work to do. So I would recommend you getting that work done before you set up that meeting with Michelle Wilcox. But if you feel like, I feel like we can get through this, or maybe we're right almost there and we just maybe need a little extra support there, I would go ahead and set that meeting up with her, let her know that you went through that self-assessment, you feel confident, and then she'll go through that informational session with you guys, which I'm going to be sharing some information from ours. So she's the actual person, the lead that you want to talk with there. Michelle Wilcox, she's the review coordinator with the National Career Academy Coalition. There's her contact information with you guys as well, for you guys as well. I will share this PowerPoint. It has a lot of useful links, information linked to it. So again, everyone will have this information for their own reference. All right, so step 3, if applicable, NCAC baseline analysis. We did not do this. This is basically if you, after going through that self-assessment with your team, that you're like, hey, you know what, I feel confident, but, you know, I'm not really sure where we're at. You can do the baseline analysis, is where you'll have a team of 2 members, NCAC trained professionals come out and meet with you guys, review kind of where you're at. They'll do a holistic academy baseline analysis, and then they'll give you a report of what recommendations they recommend in order to go through that NCAC review. As you can see, it is pretty pricey to go through this. Like I said, we've been doing this work in our freshman academy for the past 7 years. We presented at the NCAC conference the past 5 years. So we felt very confident that we could attain that model status. So we skipped this part right here. But again, this is a great resource if you do need a little bit more guided work here. And this kind of goes through the way that works here for the baseline analysis there. All right, so that is that, but it is not required to go through the NCAC review, but it is a great support if you need that extra, maybe helping hand to get you prepared for the process there. All right, so step 4, the NCAC Academy review. Here's the website for that right here. This talks about the NCAC Academy review process, how this works. Again, it is a pretty pricey. Our principal got the bill this summer, and she was like, what is this? Well, good thing we obtained model status. I don't know how she would have felt if we didn't, but yes, and it is a pricey. It actually is a little bit cheaper though, now that they're doing virtual reviews, and I'm gonna talk about those virtual reviews, obviously due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They are doing them virtually through Zoom now, because usually they send 2 team members to your school, or you have to pay for their hotel, flight, all that stuff to go through this. And this talks about more of a flow chart here of how this works on their website here. I'm going to go into more detail with you guys in this presentation. All right, so that just information there with the Academy review. So after you meet with Dr. Wilcox and she says, you know, I feel you guys can go through the review after you go through your baseline analysis with your 2 trained members from NCAC there, you're ready to complete step 5 here. So this is actually the step-by-step, everything you need to complete for your academy review here. And this is an email that she'll send out to you after your information session if you guys are ready for the review. So the way it works here is, this is the email that she sent out to our team. It basically said, here are all the items you need to have checked off prior to your review. These items are due 2 to 4 weeks before your review. We met with her again in December. Our review date was April 16th. And again, to get all this work done, it took us about 3 to 4 months to work on. And we met as an academy leadership team, my academy principal, myself, our academy teacher lead, and we met every week for 3 to 4 hours every week. And then especially closer to that review date, it was crunch time, and we were spending many hours getting this work done. But it's worth it, and I highly recommend we all do this here. So here is the review schedule. Here's just an example. So they're going to actually put a review schedule. How is the review going to look like when they come to your school, or if you do it virtually through Zoom with your team? So this is just kind of an outline of what they kind of want you to make yours look like here. So replicate. So the academy reviewers, most likely your team lead will pick them up if they do it in school in person, or if you do it through Zoom, you don't have to. You pick them up at their hotel. You'll take them to your school. Then they're going to do about a 30 to 45-minute presentation with the academy leadership there, an overview of your academy, of all the support system structures you have in place, mission, vision, SMART goals, talking about those, how you met those SMART goals, that type of thing, and so on. From there, they're going to want to interview your academy team. That's all your academy teachers, academy principal, counselor, academy coach, everyone in that review where they do a group interview. With that group interview, they call people at random, so everyone wants to be prepared for that group interview there to make sure we're all on the same page as far as the work we do in our academy and how that's all aligned with the 10 national standards of practice. Then they're going to interview your advisory board, and I'm going to talk about advisory board here in a bit. That's a group interview where they randomly call on people. From there, this is the coolest part, they're going to interview students. They're going to do a group interview with students where they randomly call on students and just ask some questions about their experience in the academy and how that supports them based on your vision, mission, SMART goals, ultimately as far as promotion, attendance, sense of belonging, and graduating high school and prepare them for college, career, and life experiences there. Then they're going to spend some time working together, the reviewers, and then they're going to come back and discuss the whole day with the academy leadership team there. So that's kind of how that works. All right, moving on here. Trying to make this work here. All right, so that's the schedule. That is due about 4 weeks prior to the review. Okay, so about a month before. So this is the bulk of the work here. It is the academy evidence and artifact collection. Let this load here. All right, so this is all the evidence you have to have uploaded to NCAC's website based on the 10 national standards of practice, okay? So the way this is gonna work here is you're going to have, again, you're gonna come through all these 10 national standards of practice, and then you're gonna have to collect evidence based on each of these 10 national standards of practice. I'm trying to get this situated so I can. All right, so then what they're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at each national standards of practice. So again, if you remember, the first national standards of practice is you want to have that clearly defined mission and SMART goals, okay? So we had to upload evidence showing that we actually have a vision, mission, SMART goals, and we have data that we're looking at weekly, bi-weekly throughout the school year to making sure that we're on track as far as meeting those vision, mission, SMART goals and meeting norms here. So the way this works here, so as you guys can see, this is an artifact for this past school year's vision, mission, SMART goals, and meeting norms, where we have these in place. We review these at the beginning of every academy meeting and so on, okay? From there, they're going to continue to come through. So as you can see, there's a lot of evidence that we have here. We have this school year's vision, mission, SMART goals, the data that's aligned with it, some other pieces of artifacts here, and then we have a couple previous years showing that we've done this work, obviously, over the past school years there. So that work is there for them to review. So that's NSOP 1, okay? And the artifacts that align with that. So NSOP 2, moving through here, and I'm not gonna go through all these for the sake of time, but again, everyone will have access to this PowerPoint with these links that you'll be able to review this information for your own reference here. So academy design. So we're going to NSOP 2, all the evidence here. So this is the evidence we have that aligns with the academy design. We have a showcase video of our academies here that showcases all of our academies through a video. We have attached all of our freshman academy team meeting agendas and minutes. We're going to see all those, making sure that you're meeting as a team on a bi-weekly basis, that type of thing. We have freshman academy brochure that talks about and highlights all of our different supports we have in place. And so on. So as you see, again, we have anywhere from, with each one of these national standards of practice, 10 to 20 pieces of evidence that we've had to put. The way that we have these linked in here, they're through Google. I know most everyone here is familiar with Google. And if not, I'll be more than willing to help you out here. But you have to put a link. And with these links, you want to make sure that everyone has access, not just Jefferson County employees, because these reviewers are not JCPS employees. So we've linked all these with Google. So all the reviewers have to do to see these artifacts is just click these links on this Google Doc I have for NSOP 2 here, okay? So just moving on here, that's NSOP 2. All right, NSOP 3 is having a host in high school. Do we have a lot of support with our district, with our academies? Do you have a lot of support with your high school as a whole? The umbrella for us would be Waggener. For you would be whatever your high school is. As far as the academy work, they support that work. So you need to be able to upload evidence documentation that shows that the high school, that our district, JCPS, does support that work. As you know, we're very highly supported by our district. Miss Rogers, this is our bread and butter here, baby. As far as the academies go, there are 15 schools now, as I mentioned. So you just go through here, upload evidence that shows we have an Academies of Louisville umbrella here. You have your holistic, as far as your high school goes, as far as the career academies, freshman academies, and so on. And then you just link that evidence here. So that's how all this works here, guys. Again, you need to have evidence for all 10 national standards of practice here. I have them linked all right here. for you all, and so on. And so that's about the bulk of the work there. Because again, you're having to go through and figure, because I know everyone has all this stuff, but it may be in a bunch of different places. You don't usually keep all this in one central location. If you do, and they're already aligned with you're great. But we had to kind of go through a lot of different folders, Google Drives, and even we had to put a lot of this electronically as well, of stuff we've done throughout the past school years there. Okay, but that's the bulk of the work there, as far as collecting all that evidence and getting all that evidence uploaded to the NCAC website for each of those national standards of practice there, and showing that you actually align your work with those standards of practice. Okay. So the Academy self-report here. The Academy self-report, it takes about 3 days to complete. You're going to want to do this with your Academy leadership team. Dr. Nosley, our Academy principal, and myself, we sat down and completed this report. It took us about 3 days to complete. It's a report that basically the NCAC reviewers are going to ask you a series of questions. I don't have a PDF. They didn't give me a PDF of this, but I can pull it up on the NCAC website here. They're going to ask you a series of questions of how you align your work with each of those 10 national standards of practice. So this first part is NSOP 1. And then again, for example, this first question is going to want to ask, please state your Academy's mission. So we put that right in there, our vision, mission. And then they're going to ask some questions as far as how that's related to different partners, that type of thing. And you just go through and you answer these questions honestly to the best of your ability here. So you see, you go through here. Here's NSOP 2 Academy Design. As you can see, some of these questions, they're pretty lengthy answers we put in here. It really does take a lot of thought. It's nothing you can just get done in one sitting here. We did take about 3 days to complete it. Again, for the second time, I'm not going to go through each one of these here. But you do have access to this. And if you have any questions about this process, do not hesitate to reach out. I would say if you put all of our questions and answers together, it's about 15 to 20 pages worth of self-report there of how our work aligns with those 10 national standards of practice. Moving on, another item you have to complete prior to the review. So the Academy self-reports due 2 weeks before. And then this next item, the faculty, staff, and administration surveys, this takes about 1 to 2 hours to complete. It's due 2 weeks prior to the review as well. So I'll click on this for you guys. They did share a PDF with us, and you can see how this looks here. So basically the way this works here is everyone on your Academy team, Career Academy, Freshman Academy team, has to complete this survey. They're going to hear from all parties here, all members of your Academy, and they want to make sure, they kind of want to get a holistic view of where's everyone at with this work. Are we all on the same page as far as the mission, vision, SMART goals? And so on. So they're going to go through this. Everyone's going to complete this. We completed this in one of our Academy meetings. It took everyone about an hour to complete. Some a little less, some a little more, depending on how much they put into this. But you can kind of see the questions they ask here. I believe it's about 30 questions here. So they'll go through this survey. And again, this is so the reviewers can hear from everyone before the review date of how we are doing with this work and how our work aligns with those 10 national standards of practice. All right, so that is that right there. So if you're Freshman Academy, that's pretty much everything you have to complete prior to the review date, okay? If you're a Career Academy, they are going to ask you to complete 2 other items. They're going to see some historical data and outcomes. To go through this process, you're going to need to have about a 4-year cycle of students go through your academy. Meaning, so if you were one of the first 11 schools, we started in 17, 18, you'll have a full year going through this school year. This will be your 4th year with the academies. Okay, so you'll be able to complete this process, I believe, at the end of the school year. But basically, they're going to see some historical data and outcomes with the spreadsheet. There's talk with Dr. Wilcox. She can give you more information here. Freshman academies, don't worry about it. You don't have to do that there. And then they're going to want to also hear from your advisory board members through an external partner survey. So like we did with the teachers and the Academy Leadership Teacher Survey, they're also going to do a survey from your external partners. Freshman Academy, you don't have to do that part there. Okay, so this is an email you'll get from Dr. Wilcox after you meet with her, after you get to go ahead to go through this review process here. All right, so that's all of the different items you're going to have to complete in a nutshell here. And how that works there. Okay. Da, 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 da. All right, step 6. So everyone's probably, what does the day of the review look like? I know I briefly went over a template there, but this is how our review looked like at Waggener. Um, so with the review, you can do it in person, obviously, if we're back in school and there's not a pandemic going on. And that's how they've always done it before. But we started this process in December, and we did not know the coronavirus existed at that time. So we were prepared at that time to go through the in-person review. There was not a virtual review option at that time. But if you can imagine, so we started this work in December, and we did all this legwork at the end. And so now we get into March, and we're like, we're not back in school. So we worked with Dr. Wilcox, and we got them to do a virtual review for academies. We were the first school in the nation to actually go through the virtual review process. It was a pretty cool experience. It worked out very well. We did it through Zoom, and we basically went through all the different components that they would normally do in an in-school visit virtually through Zoom. Okay. Obviously, you don't get that more, human experience and immersing yourself in the school building to really kind of feel the culture, climate, and everything, because that's a big part of it too. But due to the circumstances, they did approve this, and they're actually, I believe, going to provide this as an option down the line if you would rather go through a virtual review or an in-person review with the Academy reviewers. But this is how ours looked on Thursday, April 16th. The first part was the Academy tour. What we did is we have a couple videos that showcase our academies. This school year, we did a freshman academy PBL video where the district came out and filmed a pretty nice video of our PBL work we did through our physics class. We did a miniature golf course there. We also linked just some maps of our freshman academy so they can see that we're in one wing of the building. We're all together, so we can create that strong sense of belonging. You can see my office, Dr. Knowsley, our academy principal's office. We're all up there together. Then we're also in the lower part of the first part of the building. That's right there. Then we also have freshman academy brochure. So that kind of gave them an overview of the freshman academy tour there. From there, the NCAC reviewers are, you go up here. All right. They're going to see a presentation from your academy leadership. So Dr. Knowsley, myself, and Ms. Charleston, our academy teacher lead, we did about a 30-minute presentation with them. Again, we presented on our academy at NCAC, so we just did a hybrid version of that presentation. Usually our presentation is about 75 minutes, but we dialed it down to about 30 minutes there. Where we gave them an overview that talked about our vision, mission, SMART goals, where we've been with the data, and then ultimately the work we do, system support structures we have in place within our academy there. All right. Next on the list here, so they give you about 15 minutes in between each section here. They did our freshman academy team group interview, so you can see all of our team members here, and we all got on Zoom together with a Zoom call and with the two reviewers, and they just asked us questions about our academy work. They really want to see from, and I believe that's what they saw from, I know it's what they saw from our academy review, a strong sense of culture, team unity, where everyone's on board with the work, with the mission. Obviously, there's people that are on board with this work more than others, but they really want to make sure that your team is a unified front as far as accomplishing this work that aligns with those 10 national standards of practice to best meet the needs of students there. So that's one thing they're going to be looking for there with your team. But again, they ask questions at random. They'll call people out. They're like, hey, can someone tell me about this? They really just pick and choose. They call people out by name and say, hey, can you talk to me about this? Can you talk to me about that? So you really want to make sure your team's prepared for this review. They understand the work that we are doing, because I know everyone can be a specialist in many different areas and less much of a generalist, but you really want your academy to all be on the same page, to understand the work holistically, comprehensively that you do within your academy that aligns with those national standards of practice, so they're able to talk on it. From there, you do your advisory board group interview. This is one piece that like I said, we've been doing this work for the past 7 years. We haven't really had an advisory board in place. So we put this advisory board in place this past school year, where we met with these members as a group. With this work here, again, this is just a group interview. You want to put people in your advisory board. I know at career academies, like at least our career academies, they already have a very successful advisory board in place where they're doing this work. But freshman academies, that's something that we never really thought of before. So that's something that we got in place this school year. We met already before we met with these people more on a consultation basis, but they really want to see you guys meet with these consistently throughout the school year to help guide your work in your academy based on the needs in these certain areas. So as you see, we had Ms. Rogers, Ms. Morales at the district level there. We had our upperclassmen academy counselors there because I work a lot with them as far as transition work from freshman year to sophomore year. They also want, with your advisory board, they want a business partner and they want a college partner there. So our business partner was Bethany Yates with Commonwealth Credit Union. We have a partnership with them where they do financial literacy work with our freshmen through the freshman seminar course. And then Ms. Buckner with Ivy Tech. So we do through our freshman seminar course, we take all of our students on a college visit their freshman year. So she was able to really talk on how we do that work and partner our work there. Lori Brownlee with Freshman Academy Mentoring Program. She's an alumni at Waggener that helps. She's the lead of that work there as far as getting mentors on board throughout the community to help, and we pair them with our freshmen. So she was able to talk about that process. And then parents, we also they want to hear from parents like, hey, are they meeting the needs of your kids? What are some thoughts? What's your experience been with the academy work? Talk to me a little bit about that. And so you want to put some parents on your advisory board there to help guide your work and advise your work there. Then Miss Spalding, Westport Middles is our main feeder school at Waggener. So I work a lot with Miss Spalding as far as transitioning students from 8th grade to high school. So she's going to talk about that work there and so on. So that's the advisory board. Again, they call people out at random. So I did some prep work with them as well as far as just making sure we're all on the same page and if they had any questions as far as common language, the 10 national standards of practice goes, that type of thing. So this was the coolest part about the interview is the student group interview here. As you guys can see, we had about 10 students part of the group interview. They want to see a group of students that collectively represents your academy. So they want all different academic levels. They want comprehensive, honors, advanced if you have all three. They want ECE students on there. They want ESL students if you have ESL students. They want students from all different races, genders, socioeconomic statuses that holistically represent your academy. They don't want just all your advanced kiddos on there. They really want to hear from all different types of students and what their experience has been with your academy. So they gave some comical answers. They're a great group there. But it was a really cool part of the review there I was able to sit on. And then after this, the review team meets together for about a half an hour. Then they come back and meet with the academy leadership. So you can see Ms. Raj and Ms. Morales, since we were the first ones to go through, they wanted to hear kind of how the debrief and discussion. So they basically just talk about how the review went, the preparation, all that work you did before. They do not give you your report. They do not tell if you obtained model status at that time. That comes about a week or two afterwards. But they just kind of give you an opportunity to ask questions, and then they give you a little bit of recommendations and commendations during that time as well. All righty. So that is the day of the academy review. That's how it looks on the review day. So about a week or two, like I said, after the review day, you get an email from Dr. Wilcox. And basically she lets you know if you obtain model status. So luckily, we did obtain model status. She does send this email to Dr. Polio, Ms. Rogers, Kim Morales, and then your academy leadership team principal and so on. And they let you know how you did and what status you earned. So with the after the review, there's 3 different status levels you can earn. You can earn model with distinction, you can earn model, you can earn certified, and then you can earn in progress. As you see here with us, we earned model. They add up all your points based on the final report. We earned 120 points, so we were smack dab in the middle of model status there. So that was great. So most schools, she said, there's very, very few, if any, that have ever taken model with distinction. That's basically perfect. As you know, we all have growth areas within our schools, within our academies. She said most schools that do go through this because they already go through that whole self-assessment, that type of thing, or maybe the baseline analysis, they do obtain model because obviously they're already making sure they have all their ducks in a row to go through that. But there is an opportunity, there is a possibility that you could earn certified or in progress. But again, you really want to make sure that you have everything in line. You feel 100% confident with that model status ahead of time. So this is the report that we received back from Dr. Wilcox and NCAC that talks about our academy review. So she just lets you know. So we did earn model status, as I mentioned. And then you get a total of points with commendations and recommendations based on each national standards of practice. Each of these areas are worth 10 or 15 points. So you can see kind of how we did. NSOP 1, we got 8.5 out of 10. We got all 15 points in 2. NSOP 3, we got 10 out of 10. NSOP 4, we got 10 out of 10. NSOP 5, we got 15 out of 10. NSOP 6, 9 out of 10. NSOP 7, 15 out of 15. NSOP 8, 15 out of 15. Got all 15 for 9. And then we got 7 out of 10 for sustainability there. So this is a document that we're going to be reviewing this summer with our Academy leadership team. And we're going to be putting basically things in place that maybe we didn't have in place before based on these recommendations here, okay? And it's also cool to get these commendations as well, kind of to highlight all the great work, because I know all of us people, part of all of the academies, part of the Academies Louisville model, we all have great things going on within our academies, our schools, and it's great to highlight these things to really show that you are best meeting the needs of students and how it aligns with those national standards of practice. So a lot of you all are asking at probably this time, why would I do this? So we got together, our Academy leadership team at the end of this, and we said, you know, why did we do this? So this is our thought here. The NCAC review was a very reflective process, ensuring our Academy work is based on each of their 10 research-based, again, these are research-based national standards of practice. Ultimately, this information was of great value to our Academy to ensure our freshmen are receiving exceptional preparation for Academy and high school success and readiness for college, career, and life experiences. We believe this process truly transforms the Academy model to best meet the needs of students. So that's kind of why we did it. We again, found it very valuable. As you guys know, our work is not always the easiest. It's tough work. And to get buy-in from people in your academy, from teachers, other role groups, can be tough sometimes. But if you are able to go back and say, hey, you know, we're doing this work because this aligns with national standards of practice, so-and-so, and that's research-based, there's really no question of why we're doing the work, because we're doing this work because A, it's research-based, it aligns with this national standards of practice, and this work shows that it supports students and it produces results. Like I said, we've been doing this work for 7 years now, and throughout these past 7 years with this Academy work, we've yielded a 90% promotion rate, attendance rate, and sense of belonging for the past 7 years because of this Academy work. So I am a firm believer in this work, and I know this work does produce results, and it does work, and it does support kids as far as moving them along, promoting them, ensuring they're ready to graduate high school. They do graduate high school, and then as far as preparing them for college, career, and life experiences there. So this is why we did it. I hope everyone else does it. I know a lot of us have gone through Nashville's training before, maybe that highly effective teaming training. I know Dr. Polio, Ms. Rogers wants the Academies of Louisville to be the home base now, the hub where schools, academies from around the country come visit us to see how to do academies. And by going through this process, this is one way we can say we are the hub now. We do this work, and we have proven ourselves as far as doing this work to showcase all the great things we're doing and help other schools around the country move forward with the Academy work as well. So I hope everyone enjoyed this session here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Everyone should have my email. It's just andrew.thomas@jefferson.kyschools.us, and I'll be more than to help any way I can. All right. Thank you, guys.